Good afternoon, good evening, good day. Welcome to Club Carnivore, coming at you from near Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And you know what? Deanna Raw was supposed to come here, but I don't know if she's stepping in. Maybe she's having some technical difficulties. But so you know what? George, my wonderful co-host, and I are going to lead the way. And while we wait for Deanna, we're gonna interview George. George,
Hi, good evening.
what's
Well,
going
good
on
evening.
with you
Good
these
evening from
days?
the UK. Yeah, there's a lot going on with me at the moment, Nikki. It's I've had a very exciting few months, as you know. I've come and joined the North American carnivore community, and I that was via the Kilts Health Coaching course that you and I both did, which is why we're sat here tonight, because we're friends for life on that now. So it's been a fascinating time. But I've had to I took a 4-month sabbatical in between the middle of August and the middle of December. Is that 4 months? I think so. Yeah. And basically, I then realized that the money was running out, and I really needed to get back to work to keep the roof over my head. So I got invited back to my old job. So I'm now back in construction. I'm working Monday to Friday, 13-hour days. So it's kind of restricted my ability to be as active as I was within the community, but I'm still making the Zoom calls with Dr. Kilts on a Monday night, and with Kerry, very importantly, on a Thursday. And I'm doing the second cohort course that we did on a Wednesday evening, which I think will last until the end of January. So I'm keeping very, very busy still. And on Saturdays, I run a small horse racing operation. Sundays I go out for the day with Lainey, and then it's the reason you're not seeing as much as me is because I just haven't got the time anymore, folks. But it's been great fun. So yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious about the horse racing on Saturdays. Can you tell me more about that?
yeah. Saturday is the main sporting day here in the UK, and horse racing is that's their main day, and it is televised on Saturday afternoon, so on terrestrial television. So what I do is I've got a small group of professional people, trainers, owners, stable staff, one a professional journalist, and together we try and work on it, and we try and make sense of the racing, and we try and find ourselves winners. I do a lot of pedigree bloodstock work. That's my speciality. My friend Andrew Mount, who is a professional journalist and former professional gambler, he actually flags up horses on the basis of trends. My other friend John, is a trainer, and he actually had two runners today. It's Sunday, so it was a much smaller meeting, but he had a third and a winner. So we made some money on that, which is very, very nice indeed. And then, so Saturdays is really, Saturday morning is preparing my journalistic type article for the afternoon, and then the afternoon is spent watching the racing. Finishes at 4 p.m. here in the UK, and then I go on live with Rick for an hour or so on the Charger Mopar, because he always has a live on a Saturday, and I just pop in to see him because he's my great friend nowadays. And then Saturday evening, it's we have myself and Lainey have a nice dinner of some description. It was a roast lamb last night, and we had exactly. We had the remainder of that today. We did go out for the day as well, and then I went on accidentally with Dr. Kilts this afternoon for an hour as well. I wasn't intending to, but I went in the chat and said good afternoon from the UK, because of course it was. And he said, "Oh, George," he said, "if you fancy coming in, here's the StreamYard links." And next thing I knew, I was on for an hour with Dr. Kilts, and it was great because Rick Charger Mopar turned up, as did Mitch, old guy Carnivore. It's been a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great seeing Mitch. Actually, he was on good form this afternoon, because he has been a bit up and down recently with his moods, but he was in good form today. And then Thomas, our great friend Thomas Pruitt, Target Prime Rib, also joined us. So we had a good lads get together, shall we say? It was a good bit of fun. And then I did Carnivore Sunday School with Stephanie and John Espina this evening, and our other great friend Coach Juliet Edens came on. So that was good fun as well. And then I had a little break, coffee, and then I'm on with you. So here I am. Yeah, it's my life is a bit crazy at the moment. And we'll take it from there. Go back to you, Nikki. Have you got any other questions, any other ideas about what you want to ask me about? I'm open to questions.
Well, so I'm still curious about the horse racing. So you're sitting there and you're choosing which horse is going to be the fastest runner. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
trying
just
to
wondering
find
what you're.
I'm trying to find the winner of the race, basically on my experience. So
Oh,
yeah, I have success sometimes, and I am making money, and we are making money. But the great news is that Deanna's just arrived. So
Deanna has just arrived.
so yeah,
Hi, Deanna.
that's my update, folks. Anyway, so over to Nikki, and we can introduce Deanna.
Deanna,
Hi.
what's
Can
happening with you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear clearly now. The rain is gone.
I'm trying to set this up to see if can you see the stove?
Yeah, I can see the stove.
The
I can
thing
see it.
with
I
this
can see it.
program, I don't know how to make it bigger. We are all like I'm like a
What? Yeah.
quarter of an inch by a quarter of an inch.
I know it's easier when you're on a laptop computer. Yeah. I'm doing mine on my mobile right now. So later I'll be on a computer, maybe in a couple months. But right now I'm on a mobile. But so what are you cooking for us today, Deanna?
I am cooking my power breakfast, brunch, lunch, or dinner, whatever you want. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
Mm.
That's good for everything from fertility to energy. And so it's basically a beef and bacon scramble
Mhm.
with poached eggs and then butter, and then put it all together.
Mm. Those
So
poached eggs, that's a good scene. George, do you ever do poached eggs?
I can't hear you.
He's on mute.
Yeah, I don't do poached eggs, but I do eat them. I do order them in restaurants sometimes, especially for breakfast. So yeah, I'm a fan of poached eggs. I'm a fan of scrambled eggs. I'm a fan of fried eggs fried in butter. Yeah, so yeah, I do like poached eggs.
You
Nice.
can do I mean, it depends on if I'm lazy. I'll just throw the eggs in with the scramble and it works fine. But when I do the poached eggs, I like to have that yolk runny, and
Yeah,
I can cook them just right, put them on top of my bowl with that I've already heat up to make it so my food doesn't get cold. Um, you guys ever do that? I have a thing about putting hot food on a cold plate, you know. So I
Okay.
always
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I always heat
I
up my
don't care. I
plate
just put it on.
if I can.
I get it though. It makes total sense, right?
Yeah, because then it's like cold in a matter of a few minutes.
Well,
So
yeah, it makes total sense. I just forgot, and thanks for reminding me. I might just adopt that.
Yeah, it's true. When I was growing up, it was actually my father always insisted on heating the plates up before serving warm food onto warm plates. So yeah, it was always they always sat near the stove or maybe in the stove for a couple of minutes beforehand. So yeah, it is a good tip actually.
Or
It
with the
does work.
tea, uh, heating the cup up with water first, hot water
yeah,
first, and
yeah,
I've
tea
done
or
that.
coffee. Yeah, if you want your coffee or tea to stay warm longer, then you need to start with that porcelain cup or whatever you're using.
Yeah, totally makes
Heat it
sense. I
up.
just never thought about that really with the plate, but it's a good idea. So I really
I
like
haven't.
the layout of your place here. You
Oh,
got lots of open light and looks like you have
yeah.
a beautiful home.
Can you see? Yeah, we were kind of forced to do a remodel because I had a kitchen flood and it showed up with mold and it buckled. I had old 3/4 inch solid um, oak um, flooring.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
3/4 inch, and it buckled. It just,
Oh
the
wow.
whole thing just buckled. And so this was an old house. We've been in this house for 30, 32 years. And
Oh, wow.
we renovated here and there as we could go, kind of design on a dime. But this last one, it's kind of a mess a little bit, but I'll
It's
show you.
gorgeous.
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the
My,
island.
and then my center 3-sided fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
That's my jewel. It heats up the house pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And so it's very open. And so
I love the open floor pan.
that keeps me working though. We got a little bit of help for insurance because of the flood, but it went beyond that. But so should I start cooking?
Yeah. Sorry,
Sure.
Deanna, if you don't mind me asking, what state are you in
I'm
America?
in Nevada,
Nevada.
Reno, Nevada.
Okay, that's interesting.
Why did I think you were in New York? That you and George and I were both thinking the same thing. I was
I wasn't
wondering where
sure.
you were.
Well, remind me, I'll show you my mountain view with the snow on it
Okay. Nevada. In Nevada.
at the end. So, yeah, which is totally different. Reno's 100% different than Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
People think of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is very hot desert and it's just mega metropolis stuff. So I start with a couple slices of thick bacon and I use my thing. I can hardly see myself. So it's my pan am I in the view here?
Yeah, you are. You're
Yeah, no
perfect.
problem.
Perfect.
Okay. So I just like to use the scissors real quick and cut up the bacon so I don't have to cook it and cut it up late afterwards. So
Okay.
that's kind
So
of
now
how
I noticed in your bio, okay, can you while you're cooking, can you tell us a bit of your history in the work that you have done? And right now, I noticed in your bio that you will be doing, and in the show notes here, that you will be starting your 12-week program in the mid-January.
Well, that was my goal, but I'm a little behind. So I will probably start it at the end of February.
Okay.
Probably the first of March.
Okay, so it's a fertility coaching, or like, can you tell us what your plan is there? So if people want to come, then they can come.
Yeah, it's going to be basically the Raw Wisdom Fertility Blueprint. So and it's ancestral based. And I hope to have Dr. Tilts be a guest speaker for me for one of those weeks. From the benefits of, my goal is to get people healthy enough to conceive naturally. If you calm down autoimmune issues and diabetes and PCOS and all of that, most time people can get pregnant naturally. And but sometimes it's necessary to be able to use some modern medicine and do IVF, which Dr. Chills does. But as you guys all know, if you're
Trying to get pregnant?
if you're healthier, the IVF procedure is going to be more successful. And that's
Right.
part of my story. So I'm using 80-20 ground beef, and I'm going to use a half a pound. So
Okay.
So I just kind of take that off. And I mean, this can be varied, any way you want it. Use like 3 strips of bacon or whatever. And this could be done for 2 people or 1 big meal. I can eat this by myself. A lot of times I'll do just 2 or 3 eggs for myself. I'm going to make 4 eggs just because my little poacher does 4.
Mm-hmm. One.
And I do have all the macros and micros on this, and the benefits of how it would help with fertility, autoimmune issues.
Okay, so you're bringing up autoimmune issues and fertility, two very, very important reasons why many people would choose to go on the carnivore lifestyle.
Yeah,
Can we
and
start off? Can you tell people about your story, why you, like, what led you up to this point, and what did you suffer with, and now you no longer suffer with now because of
yeah.
the choices you make?
Well, one from the beginning, I was actually kind of a sick young person. I was born with low white cell count, and so my immune system was kind of poor. As an infant, I had to have gamma globulin shots, and so I had a lot of ear infections and antibiotics and all that stuff. I had my tonsils and adenoids out at the age of 5, and and then my mom was young. I was the second one that came pretty quick after my sister, and you know, we just probably ate the standard American diet, but a little bit more natural because my mom wouldn't just bake everything, but we had lots and lots of sugar, homemade cookies, homemade pies, and you know, lots of that stuff. We had fresh berries and things, but I just ended up getting. Uh, by high school, I got mono and started some chronic and fatigue sorts of things. But I was always an athlete. I always pushed through and played a lot of sports in high school and skiing, and became a junior ski patrol at the age of 15, which I still ski patrol on the weekend
Oh,
now.
wow.
But then I went away to PT school. So I've been a physical therapist for 38 years, but shortly after graduating, I was, I was just like a sick and tired young person in my mid and late 20s. I had chronic sinusitis, um, and I got lucky enough to go to a continuing education my first year out of school. Every year we have to do continuing ed. So we went away, and I don't remember what course it was, but often because we do hands-on therapy stuff, you pair up and you're working with another therapist. And I was complaining about my sinus issue to her, and this is, mind you, this is over 30 years ago, 35 years ago, more than
Right.
35 years ago now. Probably one person in 100 million that she told me, because I said I've stopped dairy and cut back on sugar. It helped a little bit, and she said try eating no wheat. And she goes, I mean, everything out of a box, and look at your canned good. If you eat canned soup or chili or whatever, a lot of times they put wheat in there to thicken things.
Yeah,
And
they sneak it in there.
then she was wise enough to say, better yet, don't eat anything out of a box or a can. And
Right.
and remember, I don't know what is this, in 1990, 1980, 1988 maybe. And
Wow.
so I was miserable, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And meanwhile, I was trying to keep my weight down by having like a piece of toast for breakfast, an open faced sandwich for lunch, and a naked chicken breast on a salad for dinner. So, I mean, I was likely not even reaching 1,000 calories, but I had
Mm.
my 2 or 3 slices of bread and my goodies I would sneak in. But so I got to bring my little poacher to boil. So turn that up, and I can turn my.
So you weren't eating a lot, ingesting a lot, right? Some people say calories, some people go by weight, but you weren't eating a lot. You probably
No,
weren't
I
enough
wasn't, and I
eating.
wasn't ever. I probably gained the 15,
Hello,
20 pounds
Matthew.
in college. What?
Sorry.
I said I was never really that overweight, but I put on probably 15, 20 pounds in college, and I could get maybe 10 pounds off, but I was always trying to get the last 10 off. So when I did this, it only, I can't remember if it was the third or the fourth morning of no dairy, no wheat, and I also took out sugar. I woke up with my head clear for the first time in years. And because of the chronic sinusitis that I had and my challenge with my immune system, it would go into a full-blown sinus infection a lot.
Oh,
So therefore, they would put me on antibiotics. And so I was probably on antibiotics at least 3 times a year. And then that started the candida overgrowth, which leads
right.
to chronic pain and fatigue. And so that was a miracle. And that went really well um, uh, for quite a while. And then I thought I was cured. And so, pizza and beer still sounded pretty good. So, as a young person.
Of course.
So, anyway, it's, made that too hot here. So let me I'm going to put my eggs in.
Okay, she's putting the eggs. So Matthew, Tremblay, welcome, 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 and everybody else who's joining or in the future. She's making poached eggs with hamburger and bacon. So you can have this any time of the day. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great dinner. It's so satisfying. It's like you eat it and it's just, you feel fed. You get the nutrients, you get the fat, the cholesterol, the protein, which all supports our hormones and our brain function. Good for us people in our age for our dementia prevention. Shoot, I broke one of my yolks already, but so
And
salt. I like Celtic sea salt.
yeah,
Or Redmonds I use, or change things up. But I know that, and I put this on, and if I do,
so can
five
you
minutes.
touch on why this way of eating and how it helps our fertility? It helps with autoimmune. Now, can you touch on mental health? What you have observed in your own life or your own experience and on how it affects people mentally.
Well, first off, I mean, just going on the autoimmune issues is because I went back and forth. It helped a lot with the sinusitis, but then later, just going on and off of sugar-free, then, it was wheat-free, then grain-free. So pretty much like paleo, but I did a lot of veggies, high vegetable paleo. So anyway, one day I woke up and my throat was swollen, my face is swollen, and I can't swallow.
Oh
And
no.
I had to go on a steroid dose pack, and then they ran a whole bunch of blood tests, and it came back with antibodies for rheumatoid arthritis and Crest variant scleroderma. Plus, I also had hypothyroid, which was likely Hashimoto's, and had started on thyroid medication. But as a therapist, I know what rheumatoid arthritis looks like, and scleroderma is kind of rare, but I've seen it. I've worked with people with it, and it's not good. It causes scarring of the skin, the connective tissue. It's excessive collagen, and it will cause scarring and sclera and derma. Sclera is like scarring, derma is skin or tissue. So the lining of your lungs, the heart, blood vessels can be involved. So so immediately I got a rheumatologist, a cardiologist, had to go for a pulmonary function test and see a pulmonologist. They wanted to do echocardiograms every year. And when I went and saw the cardiologist the first time, I said, well, how many scleroderma patients do you see? He goes, I see all of them. I'm the guy, because like I said, it's rare. And I said, so what do you do? He goes, well, we start with medications, and then when it advances enough, we'll give you a pump to, pump in constantly medication, which would cost me about $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Oh my goodness.
And right then and there, I declared that I was going to be the poster grandma of scleroderma, saying you can beat scleroderma, because it just was like, he was just like, matter of fact, oh yeah, we just pump you full of these very expensive drugs and we try to manage it. And so almost done. Just checking my little eggs there. So that was when I decided to stop cheating, so to speak. It was like, I had like I said, this was 35 plus years ago. I realized that wheat and grains and sugar and everything was not a good idea. And so, but I would be talked into, oh, it's a birthday party, it's a this or that. And so you would just do that. And it wasn't until later on, I actually went through a lot of functional medicine training and classes. And it was about eating the rainbow. And I mean, I did really well on paleo as far as all the joint pain, all that stuff went away. Still to this day, I can squat to the floor, and I'll have my 62nd birthday in 2 weeks. So,
and that's young.
That's do young. Pretty well. But at 52, I had a DEXA scan for the first time, and so then here's my little coach day. I'll put on here. And I have osteoporosis in my spine, not osteopenia. I was expecting some osteopenia because I'm small built and I'm probably a low estrogen person all my life. I didn't develop too much womanly curves. So so I expected a little bit of osteopenia or something, but it was full-blown osteoporosis in my lumbar spine. And that at that point, I'm going, as far as functional medicine goes, here's so I put the meat and the bacon in the bottom of my bowl.
Okay.
You guys see that?
Oh, yes.
And
Looks delicious.
my eggs, nearly perfectly cooked. It depends on how much. Might have cooked them a little more than. And then I forgot the all
Have a bite.
important the all important butter, which is whatever. I usually do about two or two plus tablespoons. Of course, this isn't on my lion diet right now, but that's okay.
And for people who don't know the lion diet, do you want to tell them what that is and what you're doing, what this month
The
you're doing?
lion diet, I'm getting to actually kind of get into that with the osteoporosis thing. So I just chop it up, mix it all around, make it nice and juicy. So that's your finished product. And but I had found out about the oxalate issue at this time when I'm like going, okay, I've done everything in functional medicine realm and even all my life. I've done tons of weight bearing exercises. I was even in a fitness competition for bodybuilding and all that.
Wow.
And ate all the veggies, and I had cut out a lot of fruit because of the candida. So I never went back to much fruit, but tons of veggies, tons of nuts, dark chocolate, really dark, like 85% dark chocolate was my go-to for my snack daily with my nuts, which are all high in oxalates. And oxalates can draw minerals out of your bone and your tissues. Hence, it's like people know of kidney stones, which are made mostly 75-80% of kidney stones are made of calcium oxalate. So hence, oxalates and calcium combine to create these stones in the kidneys. But it's kind of nice, and doctors will recognize that. There's actually a low oxalate diet that kidney doctors will prescribe, and they've been doing that for a long time. But
Does
if
it work?
you don't have kidney stones, then it doesn't exist, apparently. But the issue is those oxalates are traveling through your bloodstream. They're picking up the calcium and other minerals out of your tissues. The kidneys are kind of the end of the line. What happens if they deposit in your joints or your thyroid? People complain or state that they have nodules in their thyroid, and that can be calcium oxalates built up in the thyroid. They're non-cancerous, or they could eventually become cancer depending on the other health aspects of your body. Plaques in the brain could be part of this scenario. Irritation in the bladder, women that have painful bladders and they're, the bacterial tests all come out negative. It's like you don't have a UTI, but your bladder burns and hurts and there's pain. Those are calcium or oxalate crystals, which are like shards of glass irritating the lining. And it's kissing cousins with uric acid, because uric acid, people know of that related to gout, like a gouty toe or gouty arthritis. Well, there's pseudo-gout. Pseudo-gout would likely be oxalic acid in the joints causing those problems.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I was just speaking to a fellow today, and he said that I said, "Have you tried lamb?" And he said, "Well, I have tried lamb, and I had a gout thing right after." And he said, "But it's high in purines." And I said, "Well, have you ever tried fasting? Like maybe it's, if you fasted, like would do you think that you'd have a different result with the lamb after you fasted?" What would you say to him?
For fasting or for eating lamb and goat?
Goat. Yeah, to
Well,
address his gout, like, cause he said the lamb, it irritated him. He had a gout attack after he had the lamb.
well, was he just eating lamb, or what was he
He said it
eating carbohydrates and sugars with that?
with it. He said he just had lamb, but I was thinking that his body was probably responding to probably carbs and stuff that he'd had maybe prior.
Yeah,
Like
it
you'd
can
have to
be,
know
and
how much.
it may not have been the uric acid from the purines, so to speak. But I don't know where he was, because you can have the oxalate dumping or the uric acid, the thing. So it would be hard, because we've kind of proven that a carnivore diet, most people get rid of their gout. Now,
Mm.
I think when they have a gout attack, once they've been on carnivore for a while, I believe that it's the oxalate dumping, or maybe there's a uric acid dump kind of too. But they think it feels like gout, it looks like gout, and it's probably, though, driven more from the oxalic acid than the uric acid. But either way,
Oh.
Dr. Perlmutter, who's a neurologist, wrote the book Drop Acid. Has
Hmm.
anybody heard of that one?
No,
So
no.
he was talking about uric acid, and just like Sally Norton went back to the books of 1940s and stuff to find that they actually recognized oxalate overload and the damages and even death from it.
Wow.
Dr. Perlmutter was researching uric acid as a link to cardiovascular disease. Because of that, so uric acid and oxalic acid both have those, under a microscope at a very microscopic level, those sharp shards. They look like two-sided, toothpicks, but microscopic. And so even Sally, I think, referred to as, like, if you can think about it, like, say, like glass sand going through your blood vessels.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's an irritation, if you can think about that, almost like your blood vessels having sandpaper against them.
Mm.
So that's what causes inflammation in the endothelium, the lining of the blood vessels, which causes inflammation.
Leaky
And
gut
it can,
too, right?
yeah, that would be in that part. But the thing is it goes all over your body. That's why we can't think, oh, it just causes kidney stones. Well, no, that will wear down your gut lining as well. But in the vessels where Dr. Perlmutter was talking about this was, and I know this from the hierarchy of the brain to protect tissues. Hierarchy is your blood vessels, number one. Then it's nervous tissue, and then the rest of the body. But if you start to have leaky blood vessels, plaque comes to your rescue. Cholesterol and calcium and things like that create plaque, it's the Band-Aid. That plaque buildup in the blood vessels is your body saving your life. Because if those blood vessels bleed out, you don't do very well.
Right.
So cholesterol is needed, and so it is a sign. Instead of saying, oh, you've got atherosclerosis, or your CAC is high or something, it's why? Why do you have that? Not, oh, what medication can we give you to try to
Hmm.
fix that, right?
Right.
So uh those are, it makes sense, right? So cholesterol isn't the bad guy. Cholesterol's coming to the rescue. Besides the fact that cholesterol is the top of the pyramid, the cascade to create hormones. goes cholesterol to oxytocin and pregnenolone, estrogen and progesterone, testosterone, all of the whole hormonal cascade starts with the mother, that's cholesterol. And when we lower our cholesterol too much, we decrease our hormones. If we decrease our hormones, we decrease the function of our brain, our bone, our muscle, and are then coming to the mental aspect of mood and anxiety and all of that. So, you know, and then flipping back to when I found out about the osteoporosis and I ran across Sally K. Norton and the oxalate issues, I had started, I'm like, okay, my good food diet, all those greens, I would coach people that half their plate needed to be greens, you know, vegetables. I mean, it could be white, like cauliflower or whatever. And, but at least half your plate should be vegetables and a little bit of you know, like some sweet potato and a portion of good quality meat. That was a whole, and it's okay. That's a whole food diet and it works for a lot of people. But if you had gone, I think the people that have the hardest times are the ones that have worked on their health, and we kind of got bit by the superfood issue. When people started taking handfuls of spinach and putting it in a blender with almond milk, maybe added almond butter or some other type of nut butter to it, with chocolate, protein powder, maybe you added chia seed. I mean, you created an oxalate bomb. And we thought that this was just the most nutritious breakfast that we could have. And I think when we did that, we loaded our bodies. And so when you go on a carnivore diet, you have to deal with some of that, releasing of that. But I don't think that plants are necessarily trying to kill us. But if we think back to our grandparents, great grandparents, what their food plate looked like was usually always a good piece of meat or fish, and they would have a little bit of probably of a root vegetable, potato or something, and then a little handful of green beans. Maybe salads didn't come in till fairly recently, but when they started a salad, it was the salad plate with mostly like iceberg lettuce and maybe some tomatoes and stuff, but they didn't have copious amounts of these vegetables. It was balanced. And I think that our bodies are, they can handle that. But if we overloaded and, nuts and seeds and, in paleo, my go-to snack was always to have a bag of raw nuts and my dark chocolate.
Me too.
And I now know that's part of what destroyed my teeth.
Yeah.
Those are high in oxalate and they're chewing. And then my autoimmune disorders give me a very dry mouth. And that combination destroyed my teeth. And now I have a $25,000 bill to have implants. So
Wow.
Figure out how to take care of your teeth, people. A little side note, because it's no fun.
No.
But I finally, in January of 2020, is when I went carnivore the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And hadn't heard of, I think Michaela Peterson had already started this, but I had not heard of her and I didn't know the term lion diet. But I did read, I think it was Dr. Sean Baker's book, I'm not sure, but it divided it up into the different levels of carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
And the strictest form is meat, salt, and water.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I started with. And honestly, you know, this closing, the first few weeks, I had the runs. And I'm like, oh my God, I had only committed to a month. I'm like, I'm going to do a 30-day cleanse and try to see what this does. Well, the
Mm-hmm.
fourth week, that started to clear up. And I realized right then, at the end of 30 days, I'm like, wow, I feel really good. And I didn't particularly feel bad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't necessarily feel bad when you have osteoporosis until you break a bone. But so that wasn't necessarily bringing me down. And but I didn't realize my mind was so sharp and clear. And mind you, this is the start of COVID when everybody's, you know, freaking out. And I noticed how calm I was.
Mm-hmm.
And my body composition, I mean, of course, I dropped weight, but my muscles were like coming out because I decided a lot of my patients, you know, just were scared. So my patient load, I do concierge physical therapy. So I go to people's homes. And so my caseload went down. So we decided to we were working on our backyard and getting ready for my daughter's wedding. And so just lifting rocks and moving dirt, wheelbarrow. I mean, I was putting more muscle on. My stomach was completely flat. I noticed it's like I had no gas after the excessive diarrhea for the short time. For the next, because I decided to go another month. After the second month, I'm like, my daughter's wedding was planned for June. So into June, and I'm like, I'm going to go to then, which would make 6 months. And so I pretty much did meat, uh, salt, and water. I did 90% beef, had a little bit of salmon, and my dessert, I told people a little cheat because sometimes going to this, we want to have that snack or that dessert or something. And my dessert was chicken wings, salty chicken wings. I just get
Mm-hmm.
pasture raised from pasture raised chicken. And so I would have a steak or my big half-pound burger or something, but I would have chicken wings in the oven, getting nice and crisp. And so I'd finish my dinner, so to speak, my meat on my plate, and then I'd get the chicken wings out. And
That's a good idea.
it was kind of a good mental trick.
Yeah.
Some of it is texture and use the salt rather than sweet, but it was like, because sometimes I don't know how many people can relate to after dinner, that kind of triggers, okay, it's dessert time.
Yeah. It's like a childlike thing, right? Like,
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
that's what I got as a kid
Yep.
and then later. And I mean, even as a paleo, it wasn't like I would eat a big piece of cake or a bunch of cookies. I would just have my, you know, couple of squares of dark chocolate and a few raw almonds or something, but it was just something. So, I mean, my dessert was not bad, but I still wanted something, and trying to
Right.
stick to meat, salt, and water. That's what I came up with, and
And it's good to have the tactile because you're actually holding something and you're holding several different, you're picking up the chicken wing and do you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly,
It's
it is. So
just a different,
that's my little trick. But slowly over time, I actually lost my taste for chicken. I really like chicken, and I do not care for chicken now. We did
you,
have chicken wings over the holidays, um, and you know, I like those, but you know, and the fat and the skin on those are, I think, is a good snack or treat or part of a meal.
mm-hmm.
Still, but as far as chicken, I just I don't know. And I've gone more towards pork. Pork is a part of like is the highest natural density of B1 of thiamine, which a lot of people are deficient in.
Mm-hmm.
So when I learned about that, I'm like, okay. And I also, pork can kind of freak me out just how it's raised. And I don't think it's
Yeah,
very ethical.
right. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I order through a company called Wild Pastures, and they let their pigs roam and forage.
That's
And
good.
and then we have a local place here that does, what are they called? Red waggle or something. Yeah, we got a Christmas ham from them one time, but when they process their stuff, they do put sugar in it, but
Oh,
it's very ethically raised. So I don't get stuff from them very often, but
I would love some grass-fed pork because I question because people don't know I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I can tell to the T, like when I have certain things, I get a clear signal that there's something off about it.
yeah,
And
and they're not so much grass fed. They still feed them vegetables and stuff out there, but they forage. The
mm,
pig forages for whatever's in the ground and things, but they're not the same as, because they don't have the stomach and the digestive tract like a ruminant animal.
right.
Um, but just like the different in the pork and what they're fed, because they
Mm-hmm.
could be fed corns and grains,
It makes
that
a difference.
like
Yeah.
the eggs that I use are soy free and corn free.
Mm,
And a lot of people I found that were sensitive to eggs. Like I didn't eat eggs for probably 10 years. And I didn't eat eggs on the carnivore diet until I was well past my second, probably third year. I reintroduced eggs and I found these soy free, corn free eggs. And I've been able to enjoy them since. And when I meet people that say they can't do eggs, I had a Parkinson's patient and her husband, I was talking to her about changing her diet and talked about eggs. And her husband said, yeah, I wish I could eat eggs. I can't tolerate eggs. And I told him about these soy free, corn free eggs that you could
mm.
find at Sprouts Market. And lo and behold, I didn't know what he'd do with it, but I came back my next visit with her. He was so excited. He said, oh, I got those eggs and I could eat them and they
Oh,
didn't
wow.
have any problem. And my mom, years and years ago, she couldn't do eggs. They give her the runs. So she never do eggs.
Right. Okay, so it looks like we've just lost Deanna. Maybe her phone has died or something, but we'll just keep on here. And if anybody wants to step up and say hello, you're welcome. Let me see if I have a link here in case some of you are watching you and you're not. Oh, there she is. Anyway,
Yeah,
you all
sorry.
are welcome
I got a
to come up
call,
on stage.
but here, oh, I got shoot. Now I lost my
Eggs, your
right
mom.
there. I'm my husband's going to eat the breakfast or my mix. I don't know where he was, but
Oh, what you just
so
made? He's
but
gonna
the
eat it?
eggs with my mom, she she was so funny because she'd say, "Oh yeah, if I feel a little backed up and I'm going to stay home, I'll eat a couple of eggs." And she'd use it as a laxative on
Oh,
purpose. But they lived on the McKenzie River in Oregon, and a neighbor came by with eggs from her chickens. And so my mom, giving them to her, she says, "Oh, thank you," and puts them in the fridge. And, she didn't say, "Oh, they give me trouble" or anything. She just, was thankful, put them in the fridge. And she's like, "Oh, I'm feeling backed up. I'm going to eat some of these eggs." Well, nothing happened. And so
oh,
she ate eggs the next day. Nothing happened.
hmm.
And she ate them the third day in a row. she felt really good. Well, these chickens literally were free range. They lived on a river and they literally ate worms and bugs and
Nice.
roamed around the property. But that just goes to show whether it's, the food you eat or the food that your food ate,
Yes, it's
which
important.
is so your beef, I mean, some people aren't that sensitive, but sometimes it's important to get a good quality pasture raised beef,
Yeah,
but
that yep.
and other animal sources, but
Yeah.
um
If you
but
can
real
do it, then I say absolutely do it, because some people are very sensitive. I am. I take
so
way less insulin when I eat lamb. I have grass fed. Well, it's no antibiotic lamb that I've been eating, and it's been
yeah,
unbelievable.
well,
And I
lamb,
believe that, Deanna, I want to tell you something.
uh-huh,
I believe it was on the 4th day of the lion diet. Actually, I'd started it earlier with the lamb. But strict lion with lamb on the 4th day, I swear that I didn't need any long-term, long-lasting insulin.
yeah,
I'm like, because I even set my alarm. I'm like, I need to remember to take my long-lasting. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a quick little nap, and I'll take my long-lasting later. And my blood sugar was just phenomenal. If I would have taken that long-lasting insulin, I would have gone low while I was sleeping. But
yeah.
I haven't
And
been
it's
real
it's
strict.
fascinating.
I know it is, and so I'm going to stick to the firm on the lamb only. And I think that I really hit the market. It was same with when I do the sardine fast too, right? So when you have the omega-3s, you know, I wonder if you're struggling with with diabetes or any kind of autoimmune issue, if you just beef up your omega-3s, like with the sardine challenge. I know
Yeah,
that happened with the sardine challenge too, but with the lamb, that's phenomenal. I
yeah.
ate a
And
pound of lamb
I
this
want
morning,
to
and
do
I'm
lamb, and it has that aftertaste to me, and I've had trouble. I keep reintroducing it and trying. I've eaten goat. We
eh,
used to have a butcher shop that had goat, and I can't get it anymore. But goat
oh,
shoulder or whatever. But yeah,
so
I think lamb is all grass fed. I don't know that unless nowadays I don't know of a feedlot for lamb.
well, all animals, in my opinion, they're all finished with grain. I don't recall
I
ever
don't think
seeing
the
any
lamb.
animal before they take it to the market, they're going to finish it off with a little grain. I grew up on a farm, and we had animals that they were grass fed, but before
Yep,
they went to market, give them some grain, fatten them up a bit, right?
right. And the thing is about that, it is a science because my mom's husband, um, after my dad, he raised cattle, Black Angus cattle, and there's a science to how much when they bring them into the feedlot, what they feed them, how long to put the optimal weight on them.
Right.
Optimal weight means optimal money.
Money.
But if but the thing is, they aren't designed to eat that food either. And if they were to feed them too long, they get sick and they will die from eating those grains. And
Yeah,
that's also why they added the antibiotics. So there's antibiotics in the grains, one to keep them from becoming ill and dying right at harvest time, but also it was an observation by the animal husbandry people that when they did have sick animals and they put them on antibiotics, they got fatter.
I
They
guess
just
that would make sense.
it
Well,
was an observation. Yeah, and it's
don't you
like
think the body
so.
would be recognizing a foreign substance, which would the body would create more insulin?
Yeah, and they have a microbiome as well, and whether that affects that. I mean, people who've been on antibiotics tend to struggle with their weight more so than people who don't.
Mm.
But they just made that observation. So somebody came up with the wise idea, we'll just add antibiotics to the feed for all of them.
Interesting.
So not
I
only the grains put more weight on them, but the antibiotics put more weight on them.
yeah, I never thought about that, but that's a really interesting observation. Yeah, for sure. So we're just at the top of the hour now. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If anybody wants to step on stage, I've maybe got about another 5 minutes, and otherwise we're going to wrap things up today. Deanna made us a beautiful bowl of bacon and poached eggs and hamburger. It's a great meal. Something like this is great to at any time of the day. If you want to have one meal a day, seriously, you can just live off that. Like, because some people would be, I can't believe that you can live off one meal a day. But if you have a nice, good portion of meat, eggs, and bacon, your body, you can survive the whole day. It's going to take a long time for that to digest. As a diabetic,
a real quick breakdown of the macros for that meal, it's about 1,100 calories, 75 to 80 grams of protein, 85 to 90 grams of fat, less than 2 grams of trace carbohydrates, no fiber, 0 net carbs, of course. But so your fat would be 70 to 73%, protein 27 to 30%. So it is ketogenic, insulin quieting, appetite regulating, hormone supporting. And the eggs and the butter, all that stuff, as far as fertility, it supports ovulation, sperm quality, immune tolerance and pregnancy, thyroid signaling. There's natural vitamin D in the eggs and the butter, vitamin K2, again, in the butter and the eggs, calcium into the bones, teeth, and fetal skeleton, and it protects maternal arteries. Vitamin E is naturally high in egg yolks and helps with ovarian and sperm membrane protection. So, and then all the other things, there's high in B12, B6, B2, B3, choline, what else? There's, some potassium, phosphorus. So all of this helps with stabilizing blood sugar and low insulin burden, hormone substrate sufficiency, reduces inflammation, mitochondrial support, satiety without restriction, and fertility supporting. So I mean, 1,000 calories, you could either have more if it was going to be one meal, or, but, if you want to get 2,000 calories, or if it's a smaller meal, you can split that, make it smaller, but break it down. And hopefully after, Nikki, you do your lion diet, things stabilize again for you super well, and then you slowly reintroduce things. Look for soy-free, corn-free eggs to add back in, and then your body, you have more variety. But it's awesome that you're feeling so well and noticing your changes.
it is amazing. And you know what I did? I've added some pork rinds this past week. And like when I was on the lion diet, just like the lamb, my tummy was just it was so quick, that flat, no fat on my tummy. And the past week I've had some pork rinds, and that's how quick the body responds and makes fat just by eating the pork rinds. So now all I have to do is just stop the pork rinds, and that fat will just melt right off. But if that's the treat that I give myself, I'm not going to be worried. It's not chocolate cake. So, pork rind is okay with me, but I'll just get back on the wagon. No problem. But
and just watch for Did you were you a high oxalate diet before you started this, or not so
Yeah.
much?
Yeah. Because I was a vegetarian.
No, that's
And
right.
so I did the smoothies and nuts and Smoothie Girl a year before being diagnosed. I worked out. I was doing, like, I'd go to the river, I'd walk around, I'd do stairs, and all of a sudden I started getting fatter. Like, I'm like, what?
Mhm.
I'm eating smoothies, right?
I did the smoothie cleanse one
Oh,
January. That destroyed me. Destroyed me. And I made my whole family do it. And my husband like lost like 15 pounds. I mean, he wasn't overweight at all. He was slim. I mean, he was so mad at me. But as far as I mean, I hadn't had issues with candida, but doing the smoothie thing with the fruit in it brought my candida back, and it took me a while to rebalance from that. But I mean,
yeah.
some people have done well with that. They've
Yeah.
treated the cancers, and I don't understand the mechanism necessarily of having so much fruit
I
on
don't understand either.
cancer. Um, and whether those people have lasting benefits. They got some benefits, but do their cancers come back with a vengeance
Right.
later?
You'd have to see a long-term study.
Yeah, well, and those
Um,
are all very hard to do.
right. So I'd like to thank you for coming, Deanna, and everybody who's listening. Drop a comment and tell us where you're from and what you want to see, right? And if you want to get on the Let's Eat challenge. What happened is she's cooking for the PhD project, the documentary with Homestead How, where they're raising money for the documentary. So what she's done is she's donated to the cause, and then this is what she's doing in order to be part of the Let's Eat challenge. So yay, Deanna. She's
And
already made her
I
donation.
can't wait. The movie should be coming out soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And our goal is to raise 100 grand. So just keep going, right? So he's going to keep producing stuff, his stories, his books. And so the idea is just to keep ensuring that and supporting him, saying, yay, keep going. We like what you're doing, right? So it's
Yeah.
a labor of love. So if you want to join us, you can email me at info@laughtercore.ai if you want to get in the game. So you can bring your company on. If you have 50 people in your company, bring the 50 people. If you have 3, bring 3. If you bring 1, like Deanna, well, maybe she has more, but right now we see her. She's coming up representing her company, right? And so yeah, if you want to get in the game, just email me at info@laughtercore.ai. And we will see you next Sunday. We're here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, and if people know people that are struggling with their fertility and want support, I didn't get to that story, but I helped my daughter get through her toxins and get pregnant naturally, introducing carnivore, but that was after going through fertility things that really upset her system. It was very anxiety. They scared her that she was going to go into early menopause by 35. And so she got one healthy embryo that was frozen. And we decided to take a break and go full carnivore. And we also addressed mold toxicity. And she got pregnant 5 months later.
That's
Naturally,
awesome.
took a full term baby boy, and then 2 years later she decided to use the egg or the embryo that had been frozen for just over 2 years,
Wow.
and we continued doing the same diet lifestyle protocol, and that one embryo took, and full-term baby girl.
Wow.
And the
So
odds
cool.
of one embryo taking the first time is less than 20%.
Mm,
So I do credit the carnivore diet lifestyle, but also making sure if there's mold toxicity or Lyme disease or any of those things, those need to be addressed. also.
Okay, so if people want to get pregnant with your help, how do they contact you?
I don't know if I just hang on a minute and make sure, like, if you just wait by the end of next week, I just don't know if it's activated. I just started my,
Why don't
it'll
you
be
send me the
Deanna.
link and I'll put it in the comments so people can click on this episode and they can find it in the link. I'll just put it there.
Right.
Once you have
It'll
it, just send it to me.
Yeah, it'll be Deanna at rawwisdomfertility.com.
Okay.
So you'd be able to contact, or if you don't remember that and you can wait, you can go to Deanna Raw .com or at
Okay.
Gmail, Deanna Raw at gmail.com. So my
Sounds
name
good.
at Gmail. Okay, and I want to just start getting a group together it's going to be a group coaching course, hopefully by the 1st of March. Okay.
It's happening. It's happening.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, Nikki.
Thank you so much for your time, and everybody have a great life, healthy life. Bye for now. Eat meat.
Bye-bye.
Bye.